You know, I think we don't see things that are happening with us in our lives. And I was talking to a few people and I said, what are those things? What bothers you? And what are some of the things that we are afraid of? And sometimes what we're angry about, we're afraid of. What are we angry about? What are we afraid of? We're afraid of becoming unhealthy. We're afraid of getting something that we can't get out of. We're afraid of money situations that we can't solve. We're afraid of getting older and not having security. We're afraid of how we're going to take care of parents if something goes wrong. We're afraid of death. We're afraid of losing people that we love. We're afraid of losing that job at the wrong place and at the wrong time. What do we do? Everything that you deal with in life is not just practice, but it is preparation for the next step. I think we have taught people for so long that real faith is about avoiding storms, about being able to speak wonderful words and make storms disappear. But Jesus, who is one of the greatest teachers ever, didn't always speak to storms to make them go away. Sometimes Jesus walked through them and ignored them. Sometimes you don't just try to make them leave. You learn to ignore them and walk through them. Either way, the storm is of no consequence. What can I say about life today? Everywhere we look, pick up the newspaper. Now it's not just the newspaper, but we turn on our cell phones, our iPads. CNN pops up, the Washington Post pops up. Something is always going on. And we feel challenged everywhere. Sometimes the opportunity to go higher is in what we've been doing all along. Just preparation. Don't get discouraged. Don't get bent out of shape. Because a lot of what you deal with is preparation. The road signs. Your life, your best life, is up ahead of you. Don't give up now. I believe that thing that you really desire is right around the corner. And I think you're ready for it. Yeah. Make the shift. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. Smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there. Hello, welcome to After Dark. I am Edward Montgomery, aka Dr. Ed Montgomery. Thank you so much for joining us here After Dark. You know what After Dark means? After dark means that dark is not the end of anything. Light comes after dark. Joy comes in the morning. There is something that is about to do good and be good after the bad takes place. When the tide comes in, the tide must go out. There are gravitational laws and all of those kind of things that keep things going. So that's what After Dark is. And I'm so glad you're here with me today. Make sure you hit your like button, or if it's a thumbs up. If you're on another app, it's a like button. Hit it. Algorithms. I don't particularly have to care about the algorithms, but the people who have the platform care about algorithms, because if they look and see you don't have enough algorithms, they push you to the side and say, we're going to get other people and show that videos to the people who have algorithms. It's kind of like, what is that scripture? I think it's out of Matthew 25. I think it's the parable of the talents. One was given 1 talent, one was given 2 talents, the other was given 5. Anyway, but one of the passages says, and to the one who used the talents wisely, they were given the talents of the person who did not use their talent wisely. So for those who were able to do well with what they have in their hand, more will be given. So that's kind of like algorithms. If you get some algorithms, then they'll give you more space and more time. So that was a long way around that bush to tell you about algorithms. But hit those likes and comments. Let me know if you live in the city. If you live outside of the city of Houston, let me know what city you are watching this from. If you live outside of the state of Texas, let me know what state you're watching from. And if you live outside of the United States, let me know what country you're watching from. And also let me give a shout out to California, shout out to New York, a shout out to Florida. So we are coast to coast. And not only are we coast to coast, but we also found out that on any given time, an average of 69% of our viewers are found, watch this, in the UK, Australia, and other English-speaking countries around the world. So check that out. So let me say hello to those of you who are in the UK and that are watching us right now. I've got with me people, not only who watches week after week, but I also got with me Lion. So that way, I'm not going to be lying. This is Lion. Lion, yes. My goal is to tell the truth. This is Lion. Lion's going to be who Lion is. So we welcome Lion today, who's with me every week. I never introduced Lion. But this week, we have watched politically one of the most amazing things to take place. We saw a sitting president, President Joe Biden, who came on television and actually stepped down, not from the presidency, but from campaigning as a president for the upcoming term, and said he felt it was something that he had to do that was going to be good for the country. And at the same moment, the Vice President Kamala Harris began to campaign for President of the United States. And you had people coming in from all different avenues to lift her and support her. Now, you know how we are here in America. Here in America, race does its thing. It says it talks its talk. But one of the things that started supporting her was, first, it began with black women. So we saw black women support her. They had a huge call. I believe it was thousands, tens of thousands of women, black women called in to support Vice President Kamala Harris. Then the next day, it was black men, and tens of thousands of black men called in to support and say, hey, what can we do? What can we give? How can we help Vice President Kamala Harris to get into the White House as President of the United States? Now check that out, especially when they say in a country of America, well, America doesn't want a woman president, let alone a black woman president. But listen to this. Also, there have been groups who are women, Asian women for Kamala Harris. Then they have Latino women for Kamala Harris. And then check this out. And also white women for Kamala Harris. Now notice, I'm not saying that this was the color of the people. I'm saying these were the groups that they were saying. We're black, we're men, we're white. They had also the gay community for Kamala Harris. In other words, they're using the very, I don't want to say titles, but they're using how other people, what people call them, black, white, Asian, gay. And they said, okay, let's use the titles that you give us, and we're going to use them to support and say we're in support of Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be President of the United States. And that is so absolutely freaking amazing. I mean, amazing. To take something that people looked at as a negative. Well, you're using black, you're using white, and turn it around to be a positive. Because after all, we live in America, and America is cosmopolitan. America is a stew. And you know what a stew, people call it a melting pot, to where everybody comes together and becomes one thing. No, America is not about assimilation. America is about a stew. When you put carrots in a stew and potatoes in a stew and celery in a stew and some beef or some chicken or some turkey, whatever you're going to put in your stew, and corn or whatever you're going to put in that stew. I just had a good stew this past week, and it was delicious. And what it is when you eat it, and especially if you cook it one day, and then when you put it in the refrigerator the next day, all the flavor goes through everything. But no matter how much the flavor connects with all the other vegetables, each vegetable remains the vegetable. You know that a carrot is a carrot, the celery is a celery, the onion is an onion. So it is all right to be how people see you and to have your own flavor. It's all right to have your own flavor, but still we are all part of one stew. This is what some in America are trying to stop. They don't want America to become the stew. They want America to have carrots in one pot, to have the onions in the other pot, and they want everybody to taste the onions and then taste some carrots with a spoon and then try this and tell us what do you like best. And that's how they see America. Tasting, then come over and taste some celery and see how, I don't want to taste it all separately. Put it in a stew so the juice can get all in it. And then if you happen to have some noodles, and put some noodles in there, and the noodles get in there, and that beef soup, that stew soup becomes now an actual stew. Oh my God. This is what has people excited in America. People are excited about the fact that, is it possible we can come together and do something as a country while we're watching one side of America seek to divide us? Now, hear me. A lot of times we look and we say, well, white people are trying to divide against black people. I don't see it completely that way. I believe there are people who are trying to divide people in America, white, black, Asian, all, indigenous people, all are trying to divide them because one group may be saying we want the power, and the group that is saying we want the power may not all be the same color. They may have different colors, but they all want whatever they consider power to be. It might be we want the money and we want to leave you broke. We want to be able to tell you to do what we want you to do, and you can't do what you want to do. We want to erase American history so that your children don't grow up understanding how each of us can be individual, but also a part of the stew. And so what's happened with this vice presidency, what they're saying is we can all be one people. And if we can become one voice, I'm getting ready to tell you something. I'm getting ready to tell you something good. It's going to be just as good as this stew we've been cooking. And you're going to be able to get you one of them hard rolls. I know we may not eat a bunch of bread. They tell me don't eat too much bread, but you can take that bread, put a little butter on there, and then take that soup and eat that bread and eat that butter. And if you know how to use what you have in your hand, you can speak to mountains and make mountains move. That's Mark chapter 11, verse 23, 24. It says, have faith in God. Have the faith of God. Have the faithing of God. And verily, like, amen, I say, you can speak to a mountain. How can we talk to a mountain and make it move? Look, I'm going to say that in a minute, but I'm going to tell you exactly how you're going to be able to do that. But take a moment and you've seen the number on the screen, your text to give, make sure you do it. Use it. Use that text to give. As a matter of fact, do it right now. This is one of the most important times that we can give. Okay? I'll be right back with us. Allow me to break in here just a moment. You know, a lot of people talk about the power of a seed or the power within a seed. We all know that inside of an acorn is an oak tree or several oak trees. Inside of a pine cone are pine trees, acres of pine trees. But where does the inside of the seed get its power from? I found this very interesting. The outer hull or the casing of the seed, which is very hard, it's what keeps the seed alive throughout the years. Even in Egypt, they have found seeds that are in mummies' tombs that are 3,000 years old. Plant them and they still bring forth the fruit of what that seed is. Why? Because of the outer hull. When you put a corn seed in the ground, or when you put wheat seed in the ground or the earth, when you put any kind of seed in the earth, of course you water it and you have the sunlight to give it heat. So you got moisture and heat. And what does the moisture and heat do? It breaks down the outer hull of the seed until it becomes moist and pliable. But what does the inside of the seed do? Here it is. It eats it. It nourishes the inside. So the thing that is hard on the outside can become soft enough to be edible from what's inside. Let me say this to you. The power of a seed is not just you on the inside of it. The power of a seed is the ability to be able to take the tough things in life, the hard things in life, the unedible things in life, the things you can't swallow, the scars that won't heal. And when you allow the sunlight and moisture and rain and abundance to come upon it, it will get soft enough for you to feed on the tough things in life. And when you learn to feed on the tough things in life, you get stronger. Here's what a seed is. A seed is what you plant. Take a moment, plant a seed with us now to help us get our message out to other people, to encourage and build other people. Call the number that's on your screen. You can text to give. It's very powerful, very popular. You can say it 713-742-2035. 713-742-2035. You can also go to myalc.org. That's myalc.org. Go online and give through that safe medium. It will do something for you. It will be a seed. And then when you're tempted to worry, how is this going to help me? Whenever something tough comes in your life, you just say, just wait. I'm going to use this toughness for my triumph. I promise you that. Giving will make you feel warm inside. Thank you. Right now in America, we have to be able to push back on mountains that don't want to move. I used to tell a story about my grandfather. My grandfather up in Cleveland, Ohio, where they have rats up in Cleveland, Ohio. And if you live in New York, you know rats will cross the street or across the sidewalk, and you'll say, "Oh, look at that cat or that little bitty dog," and that's actually a rat. And well, one time in Cleveland, Ohio, a rat got in the house. It drove my grandmother crazy. I think I've told you this story. I'll tell it to you again. And she called my grandfather at work and said, "You got to get off work because this rat is in this house." I was real small, but I remember that rat. He got off of work, came home in his work clothes. Where is it? It had ran the bathroom. She had closed the door. My grandfather went and got this lead pipe about this big and went into that bathroom, small bathroom up north, closed that door, and you could hear the paws of the rat. and my grandfather hitting at it. And finally, after a while, it got silent and you heard this screech. And all of a sudden, I heard my grandfather hit. Bam! I knew he had hit that rat, and he kept hitting. Bam! Bam! I walked in, I snuck in and opened the crack of that door, which I probably shouldn't. The rat didn't get out. But I saw the rat slowly looking at my grandfather, and it was falling down. It had its claws bared and its teeth bared. I had never seen anything like that in my life. The rat was cornered, and the rat had turned around and was going to fight my grandfather. Well, my grandfather killed that rat. And so I'm saying to you, when things seek to corner, when anything that's at a corner and it looks like it's alive and it's going to survive, sometimes you may have to take that rat out. Now, I'm not talking literally. I'm talking so you understand this metaphor. Racism, or the spirit of it, is like a rat. And when you corner it, it will turn around and bare its teeth, and it will act like it's alive. And it's the most powerful thing in the world. Prejudice and bigotry against other people, people of colors. It's a rat. And if you corner it, it will turn around and say, I have nowhere else to go. I'm going to fight you. And one of us going to die. And that's when you kick in. Either you're going to fight or flee. In other words, that's fight or flight. My grandfather decided, I'm not fleeing. I'm fighting. I'm fighting this rat. We have decided this time, we're not running from racism. This time, we're not backing up. This time, we're not going to let it talk about us as if, you're using the word white or you're using the word black, and then everybody shrinks back because they don't want to step on someone's toes. Listen, you're who you are. White does not mean white skin. Black does not mean black skin. It's an attitude. It's a social construct. It's something that we have inside of us that we use. Being black, you have to push against that mountain of racism. And even people who have white skin, you've got to push against that racism. Even if it's inside of yourself, you got to say, you know what? This is not good for our country. It is about return to the power of unity. And when you come into the power of unity, here's what the power of unity says. If you believe in your heart and say to this mountain, be thou removed and be cast into the sea, and believe in your heart that what you say shall come to pass, you shall have whatsoever you say. What is the rat that is in your life that is trying to tell you, I got big teeth? Is it a rat that says that sickness is going to take you out completely? I understand. I'm not a doctor. I understand the things that take us out. But you ain't got to go out right now. Or you can go out the way you want to go out. You go in your pockets, and ain't nothing in your pockets but lint. There's no money in there. Just because there's no money in there does not mean you're broke. Oh, you may be broke, but it doesn't mean you're poor. Poor is Jesus talked about blessing, the spirit of poverty, that blessed are the poor. In other words, you got to see, even if you don't have a dime in your pocket, that there is a blessing inside of you. You are blessed. It says blessing means happy. Don't let these rats of attitudes, of sadness, hurt, pain, broken hearts, scars, take you out. Because I'm telling you what that rat is doing. That rat knows it's about to die. And when a rat, it will turn around and fight to the death. It's like a fish out of water. It flops. This is what's happening out here in America right now. We're about to see a brand new America about to change. And some in America don't want to change. How many of you want to see that change? How many of you want to see that change in your life? Listen, this is why we do what we do. This is why we preach. This is why we teach. This is why we come after dark. This is why we do this every week. When you give, when you make that donate, let me tell you, what we do is we reach more and more people. We use the money to reach more and more people. If we can get this out and serve this banquet to give people a different shot and a different kind of understanding of an attitude. We can get rid of lying. I like keeping lying because I like lion, Lion, not Lying or Lyin. I like lying. This is what we're doing. So take a moment. Was it 713-742-2035? Hit that text to give. And also let me know that you're out there. Share this with somebody else. Listen, thank you for being with us after dark. And don't forget, talk to your mountains. Talk to those ratty attitudes. And when you speak to it, you expect it to move. Oh, it's going to move, it's going to move, it's going to move. Ooh, later. I'm bringing some people in here with me, so this is the first time that I've brought some folk in my prayer closet. I was going to do, we come before thee and we beseech thee, and knee bend and body bow, but you know I don't talk to you that way, right? No. They don't know that you call me Edward, so they just finished that show that we did, and it's a little different, but I'm hoping we reach some people. But listen, I'm just gonna be real with you. There's some folk in my life that you're gonna have to can you get rid of them? Okay, I knew you wasn't gonna do that, but I'm not talking about rid of them. I'm talking about, can you just kind of push them back a little bit? They're messing with me. Yeah, I know. I'm trusting you for so many things, so many places in my life that I need you in. And I know you can deal with you, I'm not alone, but sometimes there's loneliness. But with you, I can get through this. I'm at the point now that I'm just going to trust you with it. Can you help with the clicks? You know, Lord, I need algorithms. You don't mess with that, right? Okay. So you don't mess with the algorithm and you can't move those people. Okay. Well, at least I'm going to get a good night's sleep. Thanks for everything else. Couldn't have made it without you. Night, Lord. This room is filled with so much energy. It is filled with abundance everywhere I go, whether I'm in this room, whether I'm in this space, whatever it is, the space where you are, even though there is glass and plastic and Wi-Fi between us, actually we are in the same space. We are in the same place. We are in the moment of now. I want you to grab a hold of this now. First of all, thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your donations, but more than anything, thank you for your partnership, because that's what enables us to reach out and to connect with more people. Take a moment. Let your gratitude show. You can text or give 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. Or you can go straight to myalc.org. That's myalc.org. And you can give. Press that donate button. It will take you immediately. It'll only take a couple of minutes. Or if you're old school, you can write a check. Slip it into an envelope and you make sure you put a stamp on it. And you can send it to Abundant Life Center or Ed Montgomery. It doesn't go into my pocket. It goes into the organization. It's the ministry. And you can send it to P.O. Box 772-300, Houston, Texas, 77215. Those are the ways to be able to send it. But once you send it, there's a way that will be made in your heart. First of all, it will be warm and loving, but it'll also open the doors for other people. And you can't beat that with a stick, as my granddaddy used to say. Thank you so much. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there.